So, there once lived this girl, Ruchika, who was sweet and innocent, but also super smart. She was gorgeous and everyone was obsessed with her looks, and she had these amazing skills. She could sing like a pop star, dance like she was on TV, and talk to anyone without even a hint of nervousness. Oh, and she was a total rock star in school too, like top grades. Being 17, she was basically the queen bee of her school. Everyone knew her name, the teachers were totally in love with her, and she was just so talented, always in the spotlight. Yeah, she had a massive squad of friends, but she only really spilled the tea with a few. She had this one super close friend named Nita. Now, Nita had her own bestie, Gita. Ruchika had clicked with Pranchi on day one. They were seat buddies. But since Nita lived super close to Ruchika's place, they were way tighter. They shared all their drama, hung out everywhere, school, tuition, you name it. Basically, Nita was her vault. She knew all of Ruchika's secrets. But one day, Ruchika was just chilling on her bed around 3 in the afternoon when her phone buzzed with a PicChat code notification. Everyone used that app to chat and post stuff, so it was kinda normal. But something felt a bit sus, so she just ignored it. But then, the verification codes kept flooding in for 15 whole minutes. She was totally stressed out. The same weird thing happened again around 7 that night. Totally freaked out, she texted Nita about it ASAP. Nita replied right away, asking her to send a screenshot of the message. Ruchika did, but she was smart enough to hide the actual code. Duh, who would send their account verification code to someone? She knew that could be super risky. But Nita was like, no way, send the whole screenshot, don't crop it. Luckily, Ruchika had already deleted the screenshot and the messages. Nita was a little annoyed at her for that. Anyway, a little while later, the code started popping up again. This time, Ruchika freaked out and sent the full screenshot to Nita. Nita got it, but didn't reply for 5 whole minutes. Ruchika was majorly scared because she'd accidentally sent the code. Then Nita finally replied, saying sorry, she had gotten a super urgent call. Then she said, hey Ruchika, think back. Who have you ever given your PicChat login details to? If you haven't given them to anyone, then just block that number that's sending you the texts. Ruchika believed her and blocked the number. After a couple of days of no more weird messages, Ruchika was so relieved and thanked Nita for helping her out. Things were chill for a bit, but then one day at school, Ruchika saw something super weird. Ruchika was in the girls' room, and she overheard Nita, Gita, and Pranchi whispering about her. Ruchika was always on high alert whenever she heard her name, you know? And get this! She heard them reading a chat between her and her cousin brother, Ritvish, who once visited her place from his foreign studies. Hearing reading their chats in the washroom freaked her out, as she never forwarded those to anyone. She wanted to yell, but she held herself back when she heard them leave. When Ruchika finally came out of the washroom, she was seriously spooked, and then she accidentally stepped on a piece of paper, and on it were all her private account deeds and that code she'd sent to Nita. She was terrified by all this, and stayed quiet, super observant, and kept an eye on those 3 the whole day. Being an overthinker and not being able to figure out what was going on, she called Nita over to her place that evening. Now, these two were super close, they even shared their phones sometimes. So when Ruchika asked to borrow Nita's phone that evening, Nita was all like, nope, and said she had something on it that she couldn't share. That's kinda strange, right? Ruchika was 100% sure Nita was snooping on her PicChat, so not cool. She told Ritvish, and guess what? He had his own drama to share. First, he kinda told her off for being careless, but then he showed her this video Gita sent. Gita was super worried about Ruchika because, girls should have each other's backs, not try to mess with each other. The video had all their chats and pics and stuff, and then, bam! Ruchika saw Nita's hand in the video. Talk about proof! Ruchika and Ritvish then came up with this plan. They'd throw a party and invite Nita, Gita, and Pranchi so they could catch red-handed. It was going to be a gotcha moment. That weekend at the party, Ruchika totally dropped a bomb. She read out loud what was on that paper she found in the washroom. ID, Picture Ruchika. Code 558930. Mission: scam her. As soon as they heard that, Nita, Gita, and Crunchy looked super stressed and even teary-eyed. Ruchika kept going. I found this paper in the washroom, and I remembered sending a screenshot of a code just like this to Nita. Plus, this ID is mine, and I also overheard some girls in the restroom reading our private chats. Ritfish, I just don't get who's behind all this. Nita, could it be you? Nita hesitated and then said, "Why would it be me, Ruchi? You know I'm always busy with studies and everything. Where would I even find the time to do all this stuff?" But Ruchika wasn't letting it go. "But Nita," she said, "this handwriting looks a lot like yours. And what about this video? Isn't that your hand in it?" Nita looked totally horrified and shocked when suddenly her phone rang. It was her mom calling her home right away. Without even saying bye, she, Gita, and Crunchy bolted from the party, leaving Ruchika and Ritfish behind. But guess what? Smart move by them. They had recorded everything as proof. They decided not to push things too hard yet, since it wasn't that big of a deal, until Children's Day on November 14th. Meanwhile, the Scam Her squad was totally stressed and tripping out. They were like, how on earth did Ruchika get all that info? So, Nita started side-eyeing Crunchy, because they sat next to each other. This made things super awkward, and they stopped trusting each other, which kind of wrecked their whole plan. They weren't even talking about stuff anymore.